World Issues Center.
Woo!
Thank you. And recently we've renovated our resource center, which is now called the KWIC Center for Education, Youth, and the Environment. And please come by anytime and check us out during normal business hours, about 9 to 4 p.m. We will be posting a schedule outside our doors. We're located in the Environmental Science Building on the bottom floor. The Kawartha World Issues Center is a small registered charitable organization located in Peterborough, Ontario, also known as Nogo Jiwanong, that connects people to global issues and local initiatives that change how we understand the world and foster equitable and sustainable communities. We make positive change through 3 key program areas with the support of your refundable Trent student levy: community education, youth and in-school programs, and umbrella support for small and emerging community projects. Trent University students have supported our locally rooted global education and resource center since 1989. We are the last surviving learner center in Ontario, believe it or not. For over 32 years, KWIC has created meaningful opportunities for Trent students to excel in their personal and academic goals. Through unique career leadership and skill building opportunities, creative partnerships, and spaces of diversity and inclusion, we hope you'll join us for our virtual KWIC open house and funder recognition event on Friday, October 1st at 1 p.m. to share in the excitement of our recently renovated and rebranded space. And please check us out online at kwic.info, and also you can check us out on social media, KWIC PTBO on Instagram. Now let's get started. So I would like to welcome Sarah Lewis, who will be joining us virtually, to please bless us with a land acknowledgement.
Gets unmuted. So I wanted to talk about the land in which we all reside on, that it is in fact stolen land that was signed off in the 1800s. I come from Curve Lake First Nation, which is a part of the traditional territory of the Mississauga peoples, the land covered by the Williams Treaty number 20. And Peterborough's traditional name is Nogo-Jiwanong, so a place at the foot of the rapids in Anishinaabe. And why that's important, because displacing our people from their livelihood, culture, children, community has had immense ramifications that have affected generations. Acknowledgement is one of the first steps in mending any relationship, specifically settler and Indigenous relationships. In this case, however, it's the most basic criteria in this process of reconciliation. So our cultures and practices of living should be duly respected as well as appropriate allyship practiced. And it should be noted that actions do speak louder than land acknowledgement, and it isn't the end all solution or doesn't fix what has happened. English.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was beautiful. So well spoken. Before we get started any further, I'd just like to, of course, recognize that this event is is the Program and Outreach Coordinator for KWIC. Until March 2021, she was also the coordinator for the partnership project with Green Up, advancing the SDGs 2030 agenda in Nogo Jiwanong, Peterborough. Her family is Algonquin from Temiskaming First Nation, Caribou Clan, also Irish and German, and she grew up in Rama First Nation. She graduated from Trent University with a BAH in Indigenous Studies and Philosophy. Shaylin joined KWIC's Board of Directors in September 2017 and resigned in April 2020 from her position as the board secretary. She has volunteered in many capacities for KWIC during and after her studies. Working with KWIC to host incredible events and initiatives has connected her to so many amazing people, has made her feel like she belongs, and has helped her grow strong roots in this community. KWIC has taught her that what she does ripples out and can make a huge impact. Thank you so much, Shay. I'm really looking forward to your performance.
Miigwech, thank you so much, Jocelyn, and thank you to OPIRG for an amazing Disorientation Week lineup. We're so grateful to be here and share our social justice coffee house with so many amazing artists and performers. I'm going to be performing a couple poems that I wrote along the theme of social justice and finding your path in that. So poetry is really important to me because it really is a way of practicing how I present myself to the world, my ideas, and it's really an art form. And it allows me to express my passions and all that I've learned here at Trent University and in my personal life. And it also ignites emotion, which allows you to feel compassion for others and where they're coming from, and inspires action, to take action on global issues and social justice and environmental issues, which are intertwined. So yeah, here we go. This one is this one or this one? This one. Okay. So this poem is called Explore Your Universe. Who am I and what do I want? Questions I avoided, struggled to carve, to cut away the weight of who I think I am, or what I think I want, or don't. To tell which is me and which is a concept professed on one me. I want to belong. I want for something, someone, to belong only to me. But I got it all wrong, don't you see? You can never give yourself if you don't know who you are. You will never know what you are made to do if you don't follow your heart. So embrace your mystery, explore your universe, because no planet is home if you don't find your own trajectory. Number one. Good. Laughter bellows across the hall. Despite the grim circumstance, you'd think they were having a ball, flowing through life's dance, allowing the world to be, stepping off the hamster wheel, slowing down to see the beauty, downtime to rest and heal, trusting in your vibration, we begin to realize, begin to see the solution, a future to visualize. An exciting place to be if we can make it reality. There is hope and possibility with love plus unity. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Shaylin. That was beautiful. And Adrian, thank you so much for the accompaniment. That was just beautiful. So we just saw Adrian. Adrian Lowe was born and raised in New York City and is a firm believer in justice and equality for all people everywhere. One of their many hobbies includes playing the piano. Music has been a continual passion for Adrian, while also playing professionally for almost a decade. Adrian also recently graduated from the Forensic Science program at Trent University. Thank you so much, Adrian, for being here today.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, Jocelyn, for the introduction. So a quick I guess some quick details on the song that I'm going to play. The song that I'm going to play is actually a song that I composed. My music is mostly interpretive, so it's up to your interpretation, whatever you feel the song is saying to yourself, but it's essentially about the fact that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So we should always strive to make life for everyone around us as best as possible wherever we are. So
recording in progress.
Just gotta get the key real quick, so it'll be 30 seconds. That's the song, and hope you enjoyed it. Yeah.
Wow, that was so beautiful, Adrian. Thank you so much. I love the piano, grew up around the piano, and I think it's a really powerful instrument. I think you can portray a lot of emotion through it. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was so special.
Okay. Zarina Garcia is up next. Zarina Garcia, pronounced she, her, is the Education Program Coordinator with the Kawartha World Issues Center. She identifies as a Filipinx woman and mother. She serves her community as a healer, educator, and archivist, exercising her creative passions through social justice work and hosting BIPOC-centered spaces that liberate dialogue, education, and practices in cross-cultural knowledge and community healing. Zarina is in her fourth year at Trent University, studying environmental resource studies and international development studies. Her education and work interests focus on themes and connections between global environmental justice issues and gendered health disparities. But as a lifelong learner, she is always seeking to explore so much more beyond those themes. Zarina started working with KWIC in November 2019 as the communication lead and is excited to return to KWIC as the education program coordinator this fall and winter during this current academic year. Zarina will be joining us virtually, so I will throw it over to you. Thank you so much, Zarina.
Thank you, Jocelyn, and thank you to everyone that's here today. I'm so honored to be performing here with all the other artists and performers. And damn, what a tough act to follow. So yeah, no further ado. In my youth, I used to stand up in front of crowds, reciting art just so I could yell out my anger at white men. Now I write letters and speak of love, wisdom. I even invite them. Normally, I set up my space for an hour of bliss. I set up the air, I set up the sounds, atmosphere in check, smells and textures too. I give my audience that ambient pressure. Not a detail is missed, but we only have 5 minutes together, so I'll do what I can in this time space we share. First, I invite you now to notice your seat. Notice your position. Make yourself comfortable, loosen up, and relax your eyes. If possible, feel free to close them. When you're ready, catch your out breath and follow my lead. At the bottom of the exhale, hold. 3, 2, 1. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3. Breathing out, 3, 2, 1. Returning to your natural breath, bring your awareness to your ears and your heart. Here we focus together on our listening organs and receptive energy centers to welcome sound into the body in good spirits. I'll give you a moment to connect with the body and appreciate these beautiful gifts, your ears and your hearts, just for a moment. You are welcome to keep your eyes closed or open for the remainder of our time together, as I now share both a story and a letter. I used to stand in spaces filled with white men that tokenized my presence and made jokes about colonization like my ancestors deserved it. When I was real young, I laughed in confusion, but played along because I was outnumbered. I used to stand in spaces filled with white men that tokenized my presence and made jokes about colonization like my ancestors deserved it. When I started to realize the stains in their voices and the stench in their tone, I stopped laughing. Still, I held my tongue because I was outnumbered. I used to stand in spaces filled with white men that tokenized my presence and made jokes about colonization like my ancestors deserved it. Only recently did I learn to stand up. I didn't understand what social injustice was because my normal was built on violence, racism, misogyny, ableism, homophobia, ageism, etc., etc. I froze up against oppressive narratives and the institutions built upon them because the true lived experiences that I encountered every day pulled injustice out of the asses from damn near everyone and everything on my path. I have walked that path. A queer woman of color, sexual assault survivor, victim of child abuse, labeled teen mother, brain injury and mental illness patient, former partner of an incarcerated youth, former at-risk youth vulnerable to drugs and alcohol addiction, someone who has lost too many to gang and gun violence, someone who has lost too many to youth suicide, the product of a racialized immigrant family in a Euro-settler nation, and the resident of a multi-generational home displaced from culture, language, and history. Raised in poverty, grew up in poverty, and only just broke through that ceiling, while having survived near-death experiences more times than I have fingers and toes, but being refused proper care and resources because of who I am. Still, I find myself navigating a place in society among too many broken family and friends, just like me. I didn't understand what social injustice was. I only recognized that unpacking the truth of my experience meant finding something to love in a world that was filled with hate. I surrendered to raw vulnerability. I allowed the pain in my life to shape me, and it shaped me into a radical being of love that has grown in a way that inspires minds, touches hearts, and sets souls on fire. Every day, we are constantly reminded of reasons to hate someone, something in this world. Every day, we are constantly reminded to make the enemy of a value, of a belief, of an opinion, of an entire knowledge system, and those who uphold them. But I have chosen to love for the sake of love. We are losing too many in the face of rejection, the lack of acceptance. Now, I used to stand in spaces filled with white men that tokenized my presence and made jokes about colonization like my ancestors deserved it. But in these spaces that made me feel empty when I was surrounded, I stood, and I stood strong. Radical love is how I have learned to heal in a broken world. Radical love is how I have learned to navigate truth in an unjust world and discover for myself that I radically love you. I love you, so keep going. It's time.
Thank you so much, Serena. That was so powerful, so beautiful. So appreciative of that. And I'm so grateful for you sharing that with everyone here today. So without further ado, I believe that one of our performers is not here. Glenn, if you are here, then please let us know. And so I'm going to welcome Sarah Lewis, who you might have seen earlier in a beautiful land acknowledgement. And Sarah is also going to be performing with us this evening virtually. Sarah She Her is an Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, and Cree spoken word artist from Curve Lake First Nation, Ontario. She is a proud member of the 2019 Peterborough Poetry Slam team, as well as a semi-finalist at the 2019 Canadian Festival of Spoken Word. Her work aims to decolonize the structural system we are all a part of and to remind her listeners of the capabilities and revolutionary voices they possess. Her works of poetry also draw on themes of love, rage, grief, addiction, and environmental activism. Please welcome Sarah Lewis. And Sarah, you can continue to perform a little bit longer if you'd like. Thank you all so much.
Woo! Okay, Aaniin, everybody. This first poem is a new poem that I recently wrote, and it's in honor of all of the children that went to residential schools and their families and all the Indigenous communities affected. He injects into his trauma. The last 500 years and 5 seconds flash by, and chemical romance coursing his blood, his veins, his stomach pains, and palms, fists clenched. Touches his bad blood like the priest that touched his childhood. That couldn't be purified by holy water, turned it red and reminded it that it too was stolen from the rivers and sacred land of the swampy Cree. This was my grandfather. This was me. It was my aunties Teresa, Juliette, Marie, my uncles Furman, Harry, and Lou. It was Tina Fontaine, Colton Bushy, Channy Wen, Jack Pocahontas. It was you. And every stolen sister, brother, and child found across that fractured map of separation, labeled as borders, a figment of their imagination and rip-off of our creation story. He is the red-skinned Indian they chant about, make souvenirs and hand them out. They want the majestic spiritual native, the creative, tomahawk warrior crying headdress chief, the cultural teacher, preacher of the land, not the one with the bottle or needle in his hand, receiving handouts, and still. Every child matters on campaign day. But pipelines and apologies are the only actions to date. He was the child that survived, and this is how he's been repaid. But sorries aren't currency in our culture. You don't own us, you owe us. He's got the number 154 tattooed under his sock. Native name erased from memory. Vocabulary walks this street, this block, this 150-year-old country searching for that rock. Rock bottom is his resting spot. Shkodeh was his name because they knew he'd have a fire in his throat, would need to spit up his truth, let it burn, little boy, pained and hurt by all the times they told him he'd burn in hell if he didn't clean off the brown. Repent, repent, but they put fire water down his throat and he's been in hell ever since. This beautiful land, we claim our freedom and pride ourselves in diversity at the expense of their freedom and because of their diversity. And I know I don't have to tell you how bad residential schools were. The 6,000 graves would speak for themselves. If there were any, the amount of media headlines speak for themselves. If there were any, the amount of fucks the government has on this issue speaks for itself, if there were any. A history so bad an unswept rug is burdened with its truth. Take them home, Creator, take them home. Brown, smoky-eyed babies born in cedar baths and smoke medicine wrapped in moose hide and buffalo fur. Take them home, Creator, take them home. To the place of 1,000 sunrise ceremonies, sage and abalone shells dances up towards the stars. Grandmother Moon gives teepee teachings about courage, love, and humility, where resilience isn't a label they gotta learn or something they have to be. Where the trap line never ends, the cement and skyscrapers never touch, take them home, Creator. To the intertribal song, tiny moccasin grass dancing butterfly babies jump to the drum connecting Ode to Eke. Make them marvelous leaders in their next lives, Creator. Because they're not just Canada's dark history, a shameful chapter or whispers in the wind. They're my blood memories screaming at me and you to do something for this and the next generation. They're the seventh fire our prophets predicted, lifted from ashes, smashing stained glasses and taking their braids that were chopped off back. They are healing, pure love. They are here with us because they are us. Miigwech. And I guess I can do one more poem, right? Because the other performer isn't here with us. Am I correct?
Yes, please, if you'd like to, Sarah. Thank you. Sarah, would you like to do another performance?
Oh, sorry, my microphone is muted.
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah, I will.
Okay, thank you so much.
I was talking to nobody. All right, so hopefully I'm unmuted. Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this one is called Warrior Cry, and it similarly talks about colonization and is just an empowering poem for Indigenous women. I'm the warrior cry that penetrates, swings through your House of Commons window. Not uncommon in my bloodline, though I'm the high priestess and the empress, grabbing glass ceilings on my way down, turned into a floor, turned to powwow grounds. I dance and stomp on top of shreds of the 1763 Royal Proclamation buried beneath my feet. Jingle dresses and fancy shells sweep the red crusted floor. I crow hop, stop, and point to every door, evicted of opportunity, every timeline, every generation eradicated. Here is where I stop and pray. I see my own fractured lineage covered up with a Band-Aid branded reconciliation. My moccasins reveal the mess you made, crammed onto reservations. Crucifixes and crying eyes disguised and covered up as a friendly Thanksgiving dinner get-together. A dinner reservation we did not make, had no choice in the matter of, painted as a special seat by the door and told to leave before the main course. Leftovers presented on a gold-plated platter and advertised as the special. Starved of culture, freedom, love, life, our children, our world, a diet built for a prisoner, how special. But my ancestors, unshackle us daily, have prayed for us for millennia. I am your Notre Dame turned to flames, the fire starter that won't get out of the house that shamed her, a ceremonial smoke medicine flavor, healing yet spicy. A lyrical physicist transcending truths through time and spaces that I now take up. A felony, if you dare touch me, burnt hands will remind you that my blood still boils. And land acknowledgements aren't going to fix that, because acknowledgements without change is like sorry without action. It's like coming to our reservation and shaking the chief's hand and in the same week signing off on a pipeline expansion agreement. Assaulting the land and bodies of water is an attack on Indigenous women's bodies and communities. This is forced entry to our life givers. Indigenous women nurture our future, feed our babies with ceremony, babies that grow because of places like Pigeon Lake. The same place where cottagers protest our wild rice monomen for being too thick along the shores for their water skis to get through, of course. The irony of their anger, having something taken away, as though their water sports trump our livelihood and survival. You scream bloody murder and I scream privilege. Tired of being labeled radical because I want clean drinking water for our communities, for Indigenous women and men to be alive, to thrive, yet we're devalued by the blue lives that promise us safety. Tired of being punished because of pigment. But I digress. Indigenous women, the backbone of the body we've abused, holding us together in this rusted, gated, concrete fused skeleton. They always call me back to my purpose, my power, my body that's been displaced, my home. I forever owe debt to my grandmothers, mothers, aunties, sisters, and friends. So this one's for you, Miigwech. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Sarah. So we could wrap it up right now, or we could do one more performance if anybody would like to take part. Okay, maybe we'll wrap it up for the evening. I think everybody's pretty tired. It's that time of year, but I would just like to say a huge thank you to everyone for coming out. I just want to mention a couple of things just before we go our separate ways. So like I said earlier, this social justice coffee house is in collaboration with the Ontario Public Interest Research Group of Peterborough, OPIRG's annual Disorientation Week. You can find more about that online. Also, we're so excited to welcome you here to the KWIC Center. This is our first half unveiling event, I guess you could say, a little sneak peek before our actual open house, which is on October 1st from 12 to 1. And we are located within Trent School of the Environment, room ESC B101 at Trent University East Bank. That's where we're coming from right now. And I just want to mention that this is an inclusive creative space that connects youth to a place of belonging and opportunities to explore solutions to complex issues impacting their lives and future. Social justice arts and arts for social justice builds community and inspires individuals to promote social change. I want to thank all of the performers so much for sharing your gifts and sharing your artistic expressions today to inspire local youth and community members. Woo! I want to say a big thank you to Will, Shaylin, Adrian, Sarah, and Zarina. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Disorientation Week. And please come visit us anytime. You can check us out online. You can check us out on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also, I would encourage you to check out the community social justice calendar that's on the KWIC website. There's tons of information about local events happening on there. And stay tuned for some of our other events coming up. Tomorrow we'll be at the TCSA Clubs and Groups Day, so maybe we'll see you there and we can talk about opportunities to get involved here. Thank you so much, everyone. This was great.
You can invite folks to unmute themselves and share any words if you would like. Miigwech, everyone. That was so inspiring.
Thanks, everyone. So beautiful. Oh my gosh, so much talent. Yeah.
We'll have to do it again. And thank you, OPIRG, for inviting us to participate. It's really
Of course.
great.
Yeah, thank you so much. Everyone was beautiful. I can't wait to be in the space and hear music and performances live too one day.
We can't wait to have you.
Just not yet.
All right. Thanks so much. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jocelyn, for hosting.